Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we are upgrading our Kingdom Death Monster from the 1.5 version that came with the second Kickstarter to 1.6. Now, anybody who orders the base game of Kingdom Death Monster these days is going to be getting 1.6. That's what's coming out hopefully in the next couple of months. Those of us who have 1.5 were able to get this card pack to upgrade to 1.6. A lot of good stuff in this card pack. I'm going to show you everything that comes in it, and as I'm doing so, I'll be showing you, what's being upgraded. It's going to replace a lot of the gear. It's going to replace a lot of settlement locations. There's some new settlement events. There's all kinds of good stuff in here. Much of it is for the base game itself, as you'd expect. There's a few things for some expansions. There's some stickers for the base game to, correct or update some spots in the rule book. Lots of interesting stuff going on, so we're gonna get right into that. Before we do, I want to mention our sponsor, Board Game Code. This is a great website where you can buy, sell, and trade games. They have a great selection to choose from. If you're just looking to build out your collection, just trying to fill in some gaps of what you're missing, Board Game Code can help you out with that. They also will buy games from you. If you're looking to sell some games, don't sell 6 games to 6 different people, shipping them to 6 different places. Ship them all to the same place, Board Game Co. Also, if you want to trade games, if you have a Board Game Geek username, go over to Board Game Geek, set up a trade list. Many of us already have a trade list set up there anyway. Then go to Board Game Co, drop your Board Game Geek username into Board Game Co, and then they will compare your trade list with their stock and build a custom trade list right there on their website. You can click the link in the description below so they know I sent you over there. Board Game Co makes it easy to buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. All right, without anything else, let's get down. Oh, one thing I do want to mention in the video, you'll hear me. I put a sticker in the Screaming Antelope section of the rulebook, or I'm reading the sticker for it. And then as I'm doing so, I realized, well, the Screaming Antelope, that was where you would unlock the barber surgeon location. You don't do that anymore, and I didn't understand where you would do that. I then realized after the video was over that the organ grinder location now lets you access the surgeon barber or barber surgeon location. So that's a little clarification for you there. All right, let's get down to the table, and we're going to upgrade Kingdom Death Monster from 1.5 to 1.6. All right, so here we go. We have the legendary card pack for Kingdom Death Monster. This is what will upgrade. I have version 1.5 of Kingdom Death Monster, which came from the second Kingdom Death Monster Kickstarter. This will upgrade to 1.6, which is the current version of the base game that is getting ready to start shipping to people that pre-ordered the 1.6 version. This will get 1.5 completely caught up. Let's see what we've got in here. All right, so quite a bit of stuff. Let's see what all this is going to be. All right, this guide is intended for use with 1.5 edition of the Kingdom Death Monster. To upgrade, follow the instructions on the following page. If you own the first edition of Kingdom Death Monster and do not possess 1.5 update pack, please contact for support. All right. Below you will find an overview of the changes made to Kingdom Death Monster in the 1.6 update. Card updates to bring certain mechanics in line with the most recent changes to the rules. Critical typo and card fixes to ensure smoother gameplay. Adjusted monster and gear effects for more balanced play experience. Note the 1.6 update contains revised versions of cards found in the core game, Sunstalker, Dragon King, Lion Knight, Dung Beetle Knight, and Lonely Tree expansions, as well as various individual hard plastic releases. If you do not own a particular product, set its corresponding revised cards aside. Should you acquire one of these products in the future, use these cards to update the product to its 1.6 edition. The old versions of components that are replaced by this update are no longer necessary. You can preserve them or discard them, but do not reincorporate them into your game. All right, so core game. Add the following dividers to the appropriate sections in your storage. Use these to organize any corresponding cards you own. Promo gear divider. All right, so here we go. So right here, so we've got the promo gear divider for gear size promotional material. The pattern gear divider for pattern gear cards. Then we've got the strain milestones, the strain fighting arts, and the pattern cards. All right, so let's see. Promo can go in here. In between Plumery and Rare Gear. And then Pattern in between Organ Grinder and Plumery. All right. And Strain. Go down here between Strain Milestones, between Secret Fighting Arts and Strange Resources. Then we've got Strain Fighting Arts. We'll go on this side of Strain Milestones. And Pattern cards. In between Innovations and Secret Fighting Arts. All right, so now replace the following settlement locations. You do not need the old copies. That'll be Organ Grinder, Weapon Crafter, Barber Surgeon, Stone Circle, Blacksmith, and Plumery. All right, so here's the new Barber Surgeon, the old Barber Surgeon. So, okay, so it looks like, so for instance, first aid kit, the new one, 1 leather and 1 perfect bone, whereas the old one was 1 leather and 2 bones. So this was going to be a little trickier to make. Brain Mint, it's not even on here. And the charms are here now. Red charm, green charm, blue charm. They were somewhere else before. Bug Trap is still here. Scavenger Kit. Almanac is not, oh yeah, there it is. Almanac 2 leather and Pictograph requires, so that's the same. Musk Bomb looks the same. And Tray Panning looks pretty much the same. All right, so that's the old one. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Stone Noses, Fecal Salve, Monster Grease. Monster Grease now costs 2 organs instead of 1. All right. Dried Acanthus, Lucky Charm, Monster Tooth Necklace. That's all the same. That looks the same. All right, so basically the Monster Grease is more expensive this time. All right, so now we've got the Plumery. The armor looks like it's pretty much the same. It looks like there's extra stuff here. Hold on. Rainbow Katana. The Rainbow Katana's here now. Where was it before? All right, so the Rainbow Katana, then the Finger of God's here. Oh, wait, were those originally Weapon Crafter stuff? Yeah, here, look. Originally on the Weapon Crafter, Rainbow Katana, Finger of God, the Blood Sheath. All right, so basically pulling some stuff down out of a different version, out of the Weapon Crafter and bringing it into the Plumery. Stone Circle. All right, so some of these costs have been changed. So Boss Mindy required Golden Whiskers and Bone. Now it's Beefsteak and Bone. Which makes sense because Golden Whiskers come from the White Lion. Beefsteak is from the Antelope, and this is a primarily Antelope, or this is the Antelope location. So, oh, here's the Brain Mint. So Brain Mint has been taken from it was originally the Barber Surgeon. Now it's here with the Stone Circle, and then the charms have been taken away, and now we've got Elder Earrings and Speed Powder are down here now. All right, and then the Weapon Crafter. So we know that the Rainbow Katana's gone. We got a Scrap Bone Spear. Is that a new weapon? I'm not sure. Scrap Rebar. Interesting. So there's some new stuff added here. Zambato's down here now. Zambato requires heat now, which it didn't before. And then we've got the Blacksmith as the final location. So Perfect Slayer. Still here. The Dragon Slayer, though, is here. Doesn't require paint anymore. That's interesting. So the cost is the same, except paint's not required. A little easier to get. Polishing Lantern. That's new. All right, so next up we're going to replace gear cards with the appropriate, in their appropriate settlement locations. All right, so actually these are going to be just added. So we have the Scrap Rebar. This weapon, the weapon to the left, loses frail and gains unwieldy. If you attempt to wound a super dislocation with the weapon, archive this at the end of the attack. All right. And then the scrap bone spear, reach 2 and frail, barbed 4 on a perfect hit, gain +4 strength for the rest of the attack. 2 speed, 6 plus accuracy, 3 strength. All right, so the Screaming Bracers, you can see still 2 armor, still go for the arms. When you activate terrain, you may add +2 to your roll result, as opposed to, on arrival, if possible, add an Acanthus plant terrain card to the showdown. When you activate terrain, you may add 2 to your roll. So you're not getting that extra Acanthus, which is actually a really big deal for me because I farm the crap out of Acanthus using the Screaming Bracers. So that's gone for me now. All right, so the Screaming Skirt loses 1 armor. It's now 2 instead of 3. It looks like thick protective fur protects your parts at +1 to severe waist injury roll results. So that's the same, but it just got nerfed a little bit with its armor. The Screaming Horns also have been nerfed a bit. They now have 2 armor. Let's see, non-deaf insane survivors gain +1 movement until the end of the round. All other non-deaf survivors gain +1 insanity. So that looks the same. It's just spaced differently. Am I reading it right? I'm pretty sure it's the same. All right, so the Elder Earrings were originally part of the Barber Surgeon. And let's see, on arrival gain +2 survival, whereas before it was at the start of the showdown gain +2 survival. During the aftermath gain +1 hunt XP, +1 hunt XP after a showdown. All right, so they just kind of standardized the language there. Now the Brain Mint, which was originally part of the Barber Surgeon, now it says consume, remove all your tokens and stand up. Consume, remove all your tokens and stand up. You may use this while knocked down, use once per showdown. You may use this while knocked down, use once per... So that's the same. They just gave you new ones because it's now part of the Stone Circle. All right, so Speed Powder also used to be part of the Barber Surgeon. Now it is part of the Stone Circle. Suffer 2 brain damage. Gain +1 speed token, use once per showdown. So that's the same, just moved locations. All right, so the Blood Sheath, originally part of the weapon, the weapon crafter. All right, looks like it is the same. Yep, just changed locations. All right, the Finger of God, originally the weapon crafter, now in the Plumery. 255, that's all the same, reach 2. As long as you have 5+ survival, gain +1 action +1. So all that's the same, it's just changed locations. All right, so Rainbow Katana, 4, 4, and 4. Frail, gains deadly, so all that's the same. Again, just going from the weapon crafter to the Plumery. All right, the Hollow Sword. Let's see, weapon melee sword, Dagger Bone. So the dagger keyword has been added. It loses 1 speed and loses 2 strength. No, gains 2 strength. This is the old one. But it loses 1 speed and gains 2 strength. Yeah, okay. Frail, it's no longer paired. This weapon gains strength equal to the monster's damage attribute. On a perfect hit, make 1 additional attack roll. So this has been changed quite a bit. This is really different. All right, so the Sonic Tomahawk, 3, 5, and 6. So it has gained 4 strength. On a perfect hit, make 1 additional attack roll. On a perfect hit, make 1 additional attack roll. Gain Savage. So it has been significantly powered up. And that's the only change. Weapon melee, axe metal, weapon melee. That's the only change I see. That's interesting. Then we've got Monster Grease. Still has a +1 evasion, +1 evasion. Okay. Item, consumable, soluble, stinky, and it's flammable now too. It wasn't flammable before. Make it a little bit. So they kind of made it more expensive and slightly more dangerous. All right, now let's get into some rare gear here. And so this rare gear is actually something that came with, looks like, well, you know what, let's read this real quick. A number of hard plastic models released during the Kingdom Death Monster 1.0 Kickstarter have since been re-released with promotional materials via the Kingdom Death web store. In order to accommodate our community members who may have purchased one of these hard plastic models prior to their store release, this card pack contains a full set of the gameplay and promotional materials found in the following products. Add the following cards to their appropriate decks. The product where these cards originally appeared is listed for Blue Lantern is rare gear. Item, lantern, order, other. You know what? Actually, this is rare gear. I normally don't like to read the rare gear stuff until I get it because it's kind of like a spoiler stuff. But I'll just real quick go through these. I'm not going to read them to myself except for the title. And if you want to pause and read them, you can. But we've got the Blue Lantern, which came from Allison the Twilight Knight promo, or plastic promo. The Dormant Twilight Cloak, also from that same promo. Let's see. Bloodskin came from the White Speaker. Speaker Cult Knife from the White Speaker. The Lantern Brazier from Pinups of Death 2. Leather Bodysuit from the same one. Rawhide Corset from the same one. And Teeth Bikini from the same one. Then we've got Lantern Halberd, which actually this looks like it might not be a promo. Hold on, where is this just rare gear? This is rare gear, so I actually should already have this in here. Let's look and see. All right, so here's the old one. All right, so weapon, melee, two-handed, spear, lantern, other. So it added the lantern keyword. 2, 4, and 7. Reach 2, irreplaceable, unique. After attacking, if standing, you may move up to 2 spaces directly away from the monster. All right, so that's the same. It changed that keyword, though. All right, then steel sword. Weapon, melee, sword, finesse, metal, 145. Irreplaceable, slow, sharp, barbed, 1d10. On a perfect hit, gain +1 d10 strength for the rest of the attack. On a perfect hit, the edge sharpens, gain +1. Okay, so this effect, on a perfect hit, the edge sharpens, gain +1 d10 strength for the rest of the attack. They've given it a name now. It's called Barbed. All right, so that's pretty cool because you saw that effect in several places, so it always made sense if they had just given it an actual name. Could have saved them some text. Now we've got some weapon crafter stuff. And so I believe this is new. It says just to add this, is not looking to replace or move it from anywhere. Scrap Lantern. When you depart, gain +1 survival, and you can get +1 accuracy. Now the counterweighted axe is definitely in here. That's one of my favorites. Let's see what they've done to it. Weapon, melee, axe, two-handed, 264, reach 2. On a perfect hit, so this one, the original, on a perfect hit, do not draw a hit location, monster suffers 1 wound. The new one, on a perfect hit, monster suffers 1 wound, do not draw a hit location, limit once per attack. They added limit once per attack. All right, so scrap sword, weapon, melee, sword, metal, 253, barbed. All right, so there's another one where it's added barbed, all right? And there's a scrap dagger. I think we're going to see that it has just added barbed as well. So weapon, melee, dagger, metal, 372. Yeah, it just added barbed. All right. All right, so one of the most talked about weapons that everybody said needed nerfing was the Vespertine bow. And you can see here, 366, 36. They took 5 strength off this weapon. All right, so weapon, ranged, bow, two-handed, other, range 5, deadly. Before each attack, you may choose for Vespertine bow to have slow, +4 accuracy, and range 9 for that. So everything's the same, but they stripped 5 strength off this thing. So rest in peace, Vespertine bow. And that, of course, is from the Flower Knight expansion. All right, so from the Exhausted Lantern Horde, we have the final lantern. Item, lantern, other. See, before it was just item, other. Didn't have the lantern keyword. I bet everything else was the same. On arrival, all survivors gain the whatever survivor status card. See, watch the eye deck. When insane, flip this card. All right, and then the other side, added lantern. Yeah, everything else. All right, so just added that lantern keyword. And here we've got the Oxidized Lantern Glaive. Weapon, melee, spear, axe, two-handed, finesse, metal, 256, sharp, reach 2 on a barbed. They add barbed to it. All right. All right, so this is something we just add to the blacksmith. Polishing lantern. Item, metal lantern. Ignore early iron. Spend action to polish the edge of your or an adjacent survivor's finesse weapon. It gains +4 strength for its next attack. Limit once per attack. All right. All right, then we've got the Barber Surgeon stuff here. Let's see, that's going to come from the Stone Circle originally. Item Jewelry Fragile, Undeathable. So everything's the same, it just is now in a different location. Looks like same, yep, same with the red charm. And same with the blue charm. All right, so for the Tyrant, which is the Dragon King expansion, we have, let's see, so level 1 now has Destiny's Marrow in there. 8, 6, 7, 10, 1, 1. Destiny's Marrow added to level 2, 12, 8, 2, 7, 14, 2, 2. And same thing for level 3. So that's new added there. Crooked Step looks the same. And then random threat and range, closest survivor in range, no target advance. Move into range and attack target, 2, 3+, 2 after damage. Target suffers bash. So everything's the same. It's just Destiny's Marrow has been added. And there is a Lonely Tree update, basic action, but I don't have that expansion. So that will just be set aside for now. Oh, I forgot. We have these 2 gear recipe cards for cloth leggings and hard breastplate. Those are the Beyond the Wall expansion. So, or Beyond the Wall plastic, promo. Okay. All right. So we'll definitely throw those in. Not sure where. Rare gear? Throw it in a rare gear, I guess. All right, so the Screaming Armor used to add 2 to all hit locations. Now it adds 1 to all hit locations. So just continued nerfing of the Screaming Armor. All right, so now this is being added. It's from the Sunstalker expansion. This is being added to the Strange Resources deck. Got a hit location for the Dung Beetle Knight. I don't have that expansion, so we'll set that aside for now. But if anybody does have it, wants to take a look, there you go. Pause the screen real quick. All right, so Gnarled Horns is getting adjusted. Here's the original. Failure. If the attacker is adjacent to the monster, their weapon is stuck, tugging frantically. It comes loose, but you stumble and suffer knockback 5. Critical wound. Gain 1 Screaming Antelope resource. Persistent injury. This one's called Crushed Crown. This one's called Ruined Horns. Blood pours from the ruined crown. Affects them. So they just changed the name. Is that it? I wonder what that was about. Okay. We have a new Screaming Antelope Hunt event. Is it new or is it? I think it's actually a replacement. So teethings. Let's see. The survivors find a trail of large rotting teeth littering the ground. Each survivor may scavenge. Roll 1d10 on the table. 1 to 3. Okay, so the old one was a 1. Now it's 1 to 3. You cut yourself on the sharp shards, suffer 1 event damage to the arm's hit location. And then 4 to 8, where it was 2 to 6, you find nothing of use. And then 9 to 10, where before it was 7 to 10. So really cutting back on how often you'll get this. An intact tooth, gain 1 large flat tooth, Screaming Antelope resource. And if no one scavenges, roll a random hunt event. Just continued nerfing of the Screaming Antelope. I guess it was really just too good of a deal for what you were getting before. All right, so we've got a Lion Knight Tactic, but I don't have that expansion. 2 more AI cards. We got 2 AI cards for the Dung Beetle Knight, so you can take a look at that if you want to. Vermin Obsession is a Dung Beetle Knight disorder. One of these roll cards from the Lion Knight expansion. This terrain card for the Lonely Tree. All right, so check this out. This is interesting. For the basic resource deck for the base game, we now have Perfect Hide, Supreme Texture, Perfect Bone, a mind-numbingly perfect bone, and Perfect Organ. If you consume this, archive this card, roll 1d10 on a result of 6+, you contract a Millennium Parasite and gain plus 10 Hunt XP. Wow. And then for the White Lion, we have a Hunt event. White lion cub. All right, the survivors find a white lion cub. They may choose to slay the cub. If they do, each survivor gains one random basic resource. The event revealer rolls on the table below. 1 to 3. The mother lion appears, overcome with grief. She attacks. Begin the showdown immediately with enraged in play. And then build its AI deck normally. 4 to 7. The father lion shows up. Begin the showdown immediately. 8 to 10. Nothing happens. If they spare the cub. Wait, so what did I miss here? What's different? Oh, right here. Overcome with grief, she attacks. This says begin the showdown immediately with enraged in play. This says the white lion starts the showdown with enraged in play. Looks like they were just fixing some verbiage, I guess, really. All right, so now we have these two settlement events that come from promos as well. I'm not going to read through them. I like to keep everything as spoiler-free for myself as possible. Of course, feel free to pause the video and read them if you want to. All right, then we've got a sticker to cover up traps here. Let's see if we can kind of pick out what's different. When a trap is drawn from a hit, resolve it immediately. If a monster is knocked down when a trap is drawn, it will stand and resolve the trap. To resolve a trap, end all survivors' attacks and discard all unresolved hit locations. Then perform the actions on the trap card. This does not end the survivor's act, just the current attack. All right, now, so here, this paragraph here. While a trap is in place, survivors cannot attack the monster or use effects that target the monster or any of its cards in any way. This is true for all actions the trap instructs you to perform while it's being resolved, including actions found on other cards, story events, etc. Then back to here. Once a trap is resolved, discard it and shuffle all hit location cards in the deck to the discard pile. Then doomed. Many trap cards will cause survivors to be doomed. While a survivor is doomed, they cannot perform any actions or spend survival until all actions on the card are performed and the card is resolved. Survivor attacking limits. When a survivor is attacking, they cannot perform any survival actions. This does not mean a survivor is doomed. They are simply too preoccupied with attacking. Okay. All right, then this sticker goes over the rewards for the Screaming Antelope, so it looks like we're about to get nerfed some more. The first time the Screaming Antelope is defeated, gain the Stone Circle settlement location. When the monster is defeated, any non-deaf survivors with 20 plus insanity are driven mad by its screaming death wail. They changed that wording a little bit. They vanish into the darkness, where it used to say they vanish screaming into the darkness. They vanish into the darkness, never to be seen again. The group gains the following rewards. 4 basic, 4 screaming, 4 basic, 6 screaming instead of 6 basic and 7 screaming. All right. And then they drop the 5 basic from 6 and then 7 screaming from 8. And then you get the Black Lichen. If the settlement has pottery when they defeat a level 3 plus Screaming Antelope, the survivors may preserve the stench of half-digested acanthus from the antelope's organs. A random survivor gains the Astute ability. Astute. On arrival, if possible, add an acanthus plant terrain card to the showdown. All right, here we've got Tattered Parcel for the Hooded Knight. The survivor gains a Twilight Sword rare gear. Place it in their gear grid now. The survivor may select Twilight Sword, its weapon proficiency type. The weapon is cursed. So that's the same so far. In addition, the parcel contains the Blue Lantern and Dormant Twilight Cloak rare gear. Add these to settlement storage. Okay. And then cursed, that's all the same. All right. And then wares, I think it just gets added anywhere on the page here to the White Speaker story event. While she is visiting, the White Speaker offers to trade some of her wares to the survivors. The rare gear below may be gained by paying its cost. Each can only be gained once per campaign. That's where you get the Bloodskin and the Speaker Colt Knife from. And then they have a updated Tyrant sticker here so that it reflects the Destiny's Marrow being on level 1, 2, and 3. Then there's also, by the way, an Aftermath sticker for the Lonely Tree and updated sticker here for the Lonely Tree as well. So there you go. That's everything that comes in the Legendary Card Pack, the 1.6 upgrade pack. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out our Patreon. Please subscribe, click the bell, all that stuff. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.